I've found a pattern in every world record single, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. The Chosen One curse. You see, when you look at the history of speed cubing, every full second barrier, from sub 10 all the way down to sub 3, something keeps happening. Something that doesn't make sense on paper. But the more I looked, the more I started wondering that, what if there's a pattern, a curse, behind every broken barrier in speed cubing? Because every time a full second barrier falls, the same thing happens. 2010, and 15-year-old Feliks Era is breaking records left and right. 794, 747, 703, 677. The greatest cuber of all time in his prime. Record after record, this is what cubing was like. Every milestone felt like it was following a script. If a major barrier was gonna fall, everyone already knew who it was gonna be. 566. The sub 6 barrier shattered, and of course, it was him. Feliks had completely cemented himself as the chosen one of speed cubing. When you look at the world rankings back then, the gap between the number 1 spot and everyone else was massive. Feliks was the script, and the script was perfect. But the thing about scripts is that eventually, someone rips them. By 2015, the entire cubing community was hyper-fixated on one number, 491, the sub 5 barrier. And naturally, everyone's eyes were firmly locked onto Feliks. He was the one destined to take it. He was the only one who could. Until a random Saturday in 2015. In the span of a fraction of a second, an amazing scramble, a skip, and flawless execution into the hands of a 14-year-old kid. The sub 5 barrier was gone, but the chosen one was nowhere near the table. The script hadn't just been flipped, it was completely shattered. Feliks Era was a very fast cuber, but he wasn't the dominant force everyone was expecting to make history. He wasn't the chosen one. In the days that followed, the cubing community was left asking the same question. Why didn't the best cuber win? Well, to understand this, first, you have to realize something. Breaking a barrier like that requires something that a lot of Feliks' world records didn't have: luck. Getting a single world record is like making a cake. It requires a freak alignment of 3 things: the right cuber, the right execution, and the right amount of luck. You can have more or less of some of these, but this still applies to every single world record single. As records get closer and closer to 0, this becomes even more relevant. At first, nobody realized that this was a pattern. We first saw it with Eric Akerstyk's 708, which was the world's first sub 8 solve. It was a massive shock to the community and a huge drop from anything anyone had gotten before, but it was brushed off as just a really lucky solve. Eric once said that getting lucky isn't a crime. The records Feliks broke had a lot of the first 2 ingredients because he was so good, but as we would soon realize, he was the exception, not the rule. Honestly, the biggest thing that changed my improvement wasn't even a method, it was realizing that luck isn't a real practice strategy. To actually improve, you have to understand exactly where you are failing. And that's exactly why I use today's sponsor, a CubeMe. A CubeMe isn't just a timer, it's a complete solve analyzer. It tracks your splits, telling you exactly which F2L cases or algorithms you are slow at so you can actually fix them. Plus, you don't just practice, you compete. A CubeMe runs tournaments every week where you can win hundreds of dollars worth of prizes. And if you don't want to have to lug your computer around, you can solve on the go. Just download the app, log in, and solve from anywhere. And my personal favorite feature is the picture-in-picture mode, where you can solve and do other things at the exact same time. Stop leaving your improvement up to chance, so go sign up for free today. And if you want the premium version, please make sure to go use code OCCubing at checkout for 20% off before this promo expires. All this is in the link in the description. Remember the sub 4 barrier? When Feliks and Max were the two best cubers in the world, a random cuber in China got the first sub 4, and way ahead of its time in 2018. Yu Shengdu got the 347 because he had two ingredients: the right execution and the right amount of luck. That's all he needed to break it. He didn't need to be one of the fastest cubers in the world. And perhaps the greatest example of this is the holy grail of cubing. Yiheng and Xuanyi were the best cubers in the world and chasing sub 3. I have a whole video on this, but they came so close so many times. And then Theodor Zajder from Poland. Dude, I don't know his last name. And then Theodor from Poland ended up breaking it. He was a very fast cuber, even a former 2.0 world record holder. And to get sub 3, he had to have the perfect execution and he had the perfect scramble. We as humans like to think that we can predict things, that we want to believe that we can predict the next barrier and that we can predict which of the chosen ones are gonna break it. This makes sense at first, but think about it. When the final barrier comes up, there are theoretically probably 150 people in the world who are physically capable of breaking it. The higher you are on the list, the more you have of ingredient 1 and 2. The chosen ones, the top 3, the top 2, or even one person, they already have a lot of the first 2 ingredients. But to break a barrier that monumental, you need the final ingredient: luck. This can go to literally anyone in varying amounts. The chosen one can get a little bit of luck and still get a better result than number 150 who gets a lot of luck. But when a scramble comes along with tons of luck, the odds of that going to the chosen one or chosen ones is insanely low. Eric once said that getting lucky isn't a crime. Chance is unbiased, it's unprejudiced. The curse of the chosen one is that they never break the barrier. Basically, every full second barrier, the chosen ones, Max, Feliks, Xuanyi, Yiheng, they've never broken the actual barrier. Maybe it really is just pure coincidence. Maybe it's just the chaotic math of millions of solves. Or maybe the next barrier won't be broken by a plan. So when that last barrier approaches, don't just look at the chosen one. Any random person could be the one to find it. It could be the person you least expect. It could even be you. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. That's a wrap, guys. See you in the next one.